Hi, welcome to Elevate Prana. This space is about spirituality, high vibes, and expanding together for the joy of it. My name is Jessica. Today's conversation is about conditioning and patterns and how we are all susceptible to be conditioned at any time within our life. It can really start at early childhood. So we're born into family systems that most likely have generational patterns that have passed down, and depending on us as a child, depending on how our parents or our caregivers or the people that we look up to for love, acceptance, and guidance, depending on how we're treated and talked to, we can then internalize beliefs about ourselves and then carry that conditioning all the way up until adulthood. The key to letting go of these patterns is awareness. Being aware of our patterns, accepting our patterns, is the way to release it and let it go. But why do we hang on to these patterns? Why do we keep repeating things over and over again that may not be beneficial or good for our lives? Because it's familiar, because it's comfortable, because it's what we know. So it can be hard. It really can. But being aware of what's taking place in our lives and accepting the truth about our patterns is the way to clear out and let it go. I am currently working through several patterns within my life that developed from early childhood. I went back and thought, okay, why am I like this? A couple of them, one of them was public speaking. I'm like, why am I so scared to talk in front of a group of people? And I went back to one experience. It was only one experience as an early child that a caregiver of mine told me something, and I had an experience of being ripped off of a stage when I was a lead in a play, and I was told I shouldn't be up there. I don't belong up there. I don't belong singing a solo. And that one experience, I internalized it and carried it with me all the way up until adulthood. So when I was a teenager and had to speak in front of a group of people, I would get anxiety. My heart would beat out of my chest. During my last career that I was in the corporate world for 20 years, I would always have this fear if I had to speak in front of colleagues. I had a fear of not being accepted or not being heard or feeling valued. And it was this internal belief from that one experience as a child. So depending on how we're treated and how we're talked to, we can internalize things about ourselves and carry it into adulthood. As teenagers, we can listen to society or our teachers or our peers and have internal beliefs. And sometimes it's easier just following the masses and following the crowd than listening to our soft, subtle voice of our spirit and our soul. So we can be conditioned at any time. We can get into a relationship as an adult, and depending on our partner, how we're talked to and how we're treated, or how we're told, you're this, you're that, if we internalize it to be true, we can then develop patterns just by that one person or that one experience. But really, being aware of our patterns, stepping into the unknown, breaking free of the condition, breaking free of what feels comfortable, the old versions of ourselves, accepting and owning our shit is one way of clearing and just letting go. During my spiritual awakening, I will tell you, I had several conditions, several patterns that have silently run in the background, operating the choices and operating my life. All of these patterns were brought to the surface like a pie in my face, like whoosh, here you go. This messy pie in my face, you better look at it. This is your shit. It's brought to the surface for healing, for change, for transformation. I had rose-colored glasses on. I had horse blinders on. I ran from myself. I didn't want to see my patterns because it was easier. It was easier stuffing everything down, and I just operated out of familiarity. Is that a word? Familiarity. I operated through what was familiar with what I knew, and that was my form of conditioning. Bringing everything to the surface, owning your shit, looking at it, and releasing it and letting it go, we can then step into a new version of ourselves, step into who we were truly meant to be. It's not an easy thing to do, it's a process. But I will tell you, it's amazing when it takes place. So if there is anything that within your life that you are working through, some sort of pattern that you're breaking free and you want to own it, you've brought it to the surface and you would like to share, please comment. I would love to hear from you. But I just want to say thank you so much for your time, your attention, and your energy. And until next time, thank you for being here. Bye.